one and all, welcome to a Galaxy Man Show interview show. For my very next guest is this incredible actor known by the name of Brock Markham. He's an actor and stunt performer, and he's in a new series coming out very soon called the Outlaws Series, and he's going to be playing the role of Red Hood. So I'm going to add Brock into the live now and have a chat with Brock about his incredible role as Red Hood. So yeah, let's add Brock in and have a chat with Brock. Hey, Brock, how's it going?
Doing well, man. How are you?
Yeah, really good, thanks. Thank you so much for taking the time to come onto my show. It's such a pleasure having you on.
Well, of course. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. To people that don't know who you are, Brock, if you can give a bit of backstory about who you are and what you do, and then we'll dive right into the questions.
Okay. So as I said, my name is Brock Markham. A little bit about me. I grew up in Oregon, small town called Banks, Oregon, just outside of Portland. Went to college in Utah. It's where I met my wife. And after I graduated, she's actually the reason why we came down here to California. She was finishing up her master's. So, yeah, so that's what brought us here. It's funny, real quick, even because I know we might be discussing this more in a bit. When we moved down here, I was working as a personal trainer. Wasn't really thinking about doing any kind of performing until one of the guys that I met at the gym I was training at, became friends with him, talked, chatted, everything like that, and just asked him finally what he did for work. And he's like, "Oh, I'm a stuntman." I was like, "Whoa, hold the phone. You're a stuntman." And because I told him, honestly, I'd always wanted to be a stuntman. I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. But like I said, growing up in Oregon, that wasn't something that I ever... It was kind of one of those things, a dream that you just kind of put up on a shelf. And I was like, if anybody asked what my dream job would be, I'd probably say, yeah, stuntman. But nothing that I figured that I'd really be able to go and do and pursue. So he actually took me under his wing, kind of helped me get ready for some auditions and things coming up. And that's when I knew that I could be a stuntman. That's where all my focus went. Starting to do that. So I was in... So my first performing professional role, I guess, was actually at Disney, working in their nighttime show Fantasmic as just a character performer. There I met some of the stunt performers there. Again, of course, became friends with them. They helped me get into the Pirates Dinner Adventure stunt show in Buena Park. I was there for a bit. Then also over at Universal Studios Hollywood, where I was working as a stuntman there. And so it's just been building, and it's been fantastic, and I've just loved every minute of it.
Awesome. So we'll dive right into the very first question, Brock. So for my very first question, so you're actually going to be in this incredible fan film called The Outlaws, and you're actually going to be playing this incredible, iconic DC character of Red Hood. What's that whole experience like for you, getting to play this incredible character?
So Jason Todd's been one of my favorites for like the longest time. I think when I saw him when I was younger, one of the initial draws to him was that classic look of the red helmet, the biker jacket, everything. I was like, man, this guy just looks cool, right? And so I've been a huge fan of Red Hood for the longest time. And it was so funny. It was around, I think, August of last year, the end of the year. Somebody posted on one of the private Facebook pages for one of the jobs that I had, saying, "Hey, got a friend who's looking to cast for a project." He said, needs to be somebody who, a stunt performer, good with lines, who's okay with limited visibility and a helmet running around. That's all it said. So I didn't even know who it was for. And I'm like, yeah, I can do that, sure. And so it was kind of this back and forth between me and like the writers and those guys. And then when he called me to say, well, here are the sides, he said, yeah, so this is for a comic book character, Red Hood. And I said, hold on. Did you just say Red Hood? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, he's like, you know him? I was like, oh yeah, I'm a huge fan of Jason Todd. Was trying to not to scare him off, right? Inside, I was freaking out. I'm like, yes, I want to read for Jason Todd for this thing. So I'm freaking out inside, but I was trying to play it cool. Didn't want to like make him think I was weird. But it's funny because it turns out because the guys that I'm working with, they're just as excited about this project, as I am. They love the characters, and so I can totally now be the fanboy and just excited to be a part of it because they are as well.
Awesome. So on to my very next question. So when you got casted as the role of Red Hood, what were your emotions like when you got casted in the role?
It's a dream role, and I know we still have a lot of I guess progress to make by way of being able to make this and have it happen. Um, but it's just a dream role. My wife was super excited with me because she knows how much I love this character. She was freaking out just alongside with me. But just those emotions of just so excited, just so happy. And like I said, I've never honestly, if somebody had asked me, you know, well, even just last year, hey, you think you'll play Jason Todd? Like, man, that'd be really cool. I don't know if that'll ever happen, but man, that'd be really cool. So it's just so exciting. Something great to look forward to.
So on to my very next question. So what makes your Red Hood different from other actors that have played Red Hood before?
So I know let's Red Hood. I mean, he as much as I've loved him, let's to be honest, he hasn't been super popular for a very long time. You know, and he had the animated Under the Red Hood, and you know, pretty much everybody loved that, which is great. But his popularity is only coming, you know, fairly recent. And so there haven't been a whole lot of, you know, real portrayals, I guess you could say, big screen, silver screen, whatever. Um, so I don't know if I have too many to really, you know, base off of. I know you have the guy who's doing with Titans there. But something that I will say that I think I'm proud of that I'm able to bring to this character is really the physicality of Jason Todd. I'm 6'2", 225 pounds, and I can move pretty well. But at the same time, the difference between these characters, like Jason Todd, he's not the acrobat, you know, that Dick Grayson is in the comics and everything like that. He's a great fighter. He can move, of course. He's not sluggish by any means, but he's a bruiser, right? And so he's going to have a different physicality. And so I'm happy and pleased that I'm able to bring that presence just physically into this character. And I think that's just going to kind of help continue to bring out what type of you know, character and even mindset that he has.
So on to my very next question. So if you could have any memorable moment as the role of Red Hood, what memorable moment would you want for your Red Hood and why?
Ooh, so that is an excellent question. What's interesting is this is going to be a very original story. The whole idea of this series, what we want to do is we want to make a sizzle reel and pitch it to Warner Brothers and HBO Max, and so we want to have a series going on there. It's going to be completely original. Obviously, this is the characters that people love, and that's what I think is great about it. These are the characters you love. Um, but like, so there's not going to be too on the nose stuff from borrowed from comics, but like, man, something that I'd like to see with him, an iconic scene, because it's the thing we're not doing. It's not an Under the Red Hood story, you know. We're not going to be doing with Batman or anything. Um, okay, I can think of I can think of one. Um, I think it was right before the Prince of Gotham uh, storyline in the comics. There is when he finds out base what Penguin had done to his dad. And he just shows up to Penguin, just unmasks himself and is like, "Yeah, it's me," and then just shoots him in the face. I was like, "Ooh, that was pretty intense."
Awesome. So on to my very next question. So why do you think people should watch the Outlaw series when it comes out?
So I think that goes back to kind of what I was saying. It's a completely original story, right, with the characters you love, and the writers, the one of the writers is also the Arsenal, the Roy Harper there. But these guys, the writers, director, everybody in the creative team, they love these characters. This isn't, you know, like, hey, these guys are kind of popular and let's just kind of throw it out there for the sake of it being there. You know, this is something that they care about the characters. They care about this intense story that we're wanting to tell. And so I would say to any comic book fan, casual fan, but then especially if you're a fan of, you know, the Red Hood and the Outlaws series, to come and see the care that's been put into these characters, characters that we haven't, well, we've seen some of them, but we haven't seen this group together. As comic book wise, this is an iconic trinity together, and so it's going to be something that if you are a fan of them, I do believe you're going to love it. If you've just liked comic book shows and movies, you're going to enjoy it as well. And if you're just casual, I think it's going to be great because it's really not going to be super fanciful. It's very grounded, down to earth, kind of something that you might see on the news. Is kind of what we're going for.
So on to my very next question. So who would be your all-time favorite DC hero and why?
I mean, it really does have to be Red Hood. I love Batman, and I'm a big fan of Batman, but I just really like Red Hood, Jason Todd, kind of what he's about.
Awesome. So on to my very next question. So who would be your all-time favorite DC villain and why?
Yeah, I'd have to say Bane on that one. When just thinking about it, just because I know a lot of people say, "Oh, the Joker." No, Joker's great. Joker will always be an iconic and go down as history as probably one of the, if not the greatest villains of all time. However, one of the things that I love about Bane is not only he's not just this, big meathead pumped up full of venom. I think sometimes maybe the casual fan forgets. I mean, the guys who are really reading the comics, they know this, but some of the casual fans kind of forget. Bane is extremely intelligent. He's brawny, yeah, but this guy is the guy who discovered Batman's secret identity, and was the one who put into motion that whole plan of basically wearing him out and breaking into the Batcave and then ended up breaking his back, and so that's why I'd have to say Bane is probably villain-wise my favorite.
Awesome. So on to the very next question. So if your Red Hood could team up with any DC character, who do you think it would be and why?
Any DC character. I mean, the fact that he's with Roy is already awesome, just because their dynamic is phenomenal. That being said, I also did. I think it would actually be pretty cool to see Bizarro. I know they had the after the initial events with Roy and Starfire and Jason and them splitting up. Jason went on to be with Bizarro and Artemis, and I do think that seeing a Bizarro would be pretty cool because we really haven't seen anything like that. We have Superman, and that's great, but to see Jason, especially this version, reacting and having to act around with. Learn how to live with and work with Bizarro, I think would actually be pretty cool.
Awesome. So on to the very next question. So as you mentioned before, you work hard with your fitness and training and stuff. How did you get into doing like fitness in the first place? How do you keep up your fitness as a person?
So I grew up in all types of sports: football, wrestling, I did baseball when I was younger, track and field, played rugby in college. And then when my wife and I moved here to California, I felt like, because I was working at a gym, so I was still working out and doing that, but I felt stagnant. I didn't feel like I guess that what I really missed was the competition. I missed having something to look forward to push myself to, and then competing in. And so that's what I thought. I was like, you know what? Why don't I try doing a bodybuilding show? I'll just do a natural bodybuilding show. I'll do one because, now would be the time. Just do one and be done with it, just to say that I did it once. But after I did that first one, I just fell in love with it. And I've been sticking with bodybuilding, actively competing, ever since. That was 2018 was my first show. And I've loved that. So yeah, it's just been really focusing on lifting when gyms were open. During this shutdown, this COVID time, I've actually been lucky to have somebody close by who has a home gym. I've been able to work out there, so that's been a huge help.
Awesome. So on to the very next question. So who inspired you as a person to get into acting in the first place?
I mean, I would have to kind of say a big inspiration for that would be my wife. Like I said, growing up, being a stuntman would be something that I'd always want to do, and even to some extent my mom. Because back in the day, there'd be times like I remember when I was like 6, I think 6 or 7 or so, we came to Universal Studios Hollywood, and I saw the Wild West stunt show, and I'm like, that's a job, you can do this, and there's things like that. My mom kind of leaned over and be like, bro, you could do that, and I'm 6, right? So my mom definitely would be somebody who's always uh, believed me, inspired me that I could do something like that. But then once the actual opportunity or chance came to be a performer, I mean, an actor, my wife was 100% on board and has been just a huge help. And uh, I could not be where I am as a performer or anything without her.
So on to my very next question. So what have you learned about yourself as a person, especially during COVID?
Um, I was I think a big thing could be how much I do really miss performing. That was something that I think is almost a little odd to me. Like before the shutdown, I was working at Disneyland, Universal Studios. I was loving it, having a great time. But I don't know if I fully appreciated how much I enjoy performing, how fulfilling I feel in it when I was not able to do it anymore. So I'm still, my wife's been able to work, and I got another job right now. I'm delivering packages with Amazon because I feel like I still need to work and need to be doing something. But just the feeling of fulfillment that I don't think I realized how much I would miss when I couldn't do it anymore.
Awesome. So on to my very next question. So if you could be in any TV or movie franchise, what would it be and why?
I mean, it's this one right now. We're hoping this becomes, this gets picked up as the season. So, but that aside, um, I mean, let's be real. I do think it would be cool to be in the Marvel. I'm a huge superhero nerd overall, DC and Marvel. But I think it would be cool the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Somebody like just completely out there as well. Like I think it would be really cool to be like Hyperion or the Sentry. And I think only some diehard comic book fans are gonna know who those people are. But like, yeah, I think that'd be pretty cool.
I actually saw your self tape of Captain America that you did on your
Oh yeah.
YouTube channel. That was I actually really liked it, and I was like, wow, like you could pull off a great Steve Rogers.
Well, thanks, man.
Yeah, it was
Steve's,
actually really good.
I love Captain.
I was like, wow, yeah, you actually have the look of Steve Rogers. If they ever brought like a Steve Rogers Captain America, you would be that Captain America for like the new era of like Marvel. That's how good you were in that self tape.
Wow, thanks, man. That means a whole lot. Yeah, I love Captain America. When it comes to Marvel heroes, he's definitely my favorite. I love Captain America. But thank you so much. That's really cool.
You're very welcome. So on to my very next question. So what are the positives and negatives into the acting industry, and how do you get through those negatives as a person?
I mean, positives first and foremost, like I said, is the feeling of fulfillment that I get from performing. Um, it's I don't want to be a cliche, but it almost kind of like an indescribable feeling. It very much is something of feeling that sense of fulfillment and purpose, and being able to do that. Negatives, again, not to be a cliche, but it really is just the no's that you get, whether it's auditioning for small commercials or whatever it is. There's just so many auditions you might do that you will not get, and so it really just I think something that really helps you get through it is surrounding yourself with good friends who are in a similar situation. Maybe who aren't even in a similar situation. I've got tons of friends who aren't even actors or performers or anything, but like having a good people, I think that's really important. I can think of one friend in particular. His name is Brian. That is a huge help to me in getting my career even where it's at. He's such a positive guy as well. That helps when you feel like, man, I'm just not getting anything. I'm not I'm not booking anything. Like, is this worth it? That kind of a thing. Those thoughts happen. Having somebody uh, with you, like, who understands that, and is still able to lift you up and help motivate you to continue on. That, I think, is one of the best things that you can do, getting through those negatives.
So on to my very last question. So what's next for you, like goal-wise for 2021, that you would like to announce on the show?
Goal is for 21. Obviously, first and foremost, this Outlaw series. We want to get the Indiegogo uh, all the way to our goal. We want to get that sizzle reel. Um, I mean, outside of just performing, I guess I'll say I am competing in another bodybuilding competition on Venice Beach in October, and depending on how that goes, maybe one more in November in Las Vegas. We'll see. And obviously, COVID uh, restrictions, all that. But I think those are my main focuses right now, and hoping, again, fingers crossed, that maybe other things kind of open back up. Universal getting back to work there. If Disney is able to open back up at all, that would be great, because they're having a brand new Marvel stunt show in their California Adventure that I was going through the auditions for as well with my friend, and this all closed down. So I think those are out of my control as far as opening up, but those are definite goals that I look forward to, maybe this year, but yes, in the future as well.
Well, can I just say thank you so much, Brock, for making an appearance on my show. It's been such a pleasure having a chat with you. To people that haven't seen Brock's work, definitely go support Brock. Such a truly incredible actor and stunt performer. Highly recommend go support the Outlaw series coming very soon, and support the Indiegogo. Any last final thoughts that you would like to say to people on the show?
I mean, I want to thank you. This has been a lot of fun. Thank you so much for this opportunity, especially the kind words. That's always fantastic. I wish you the best, and like I said, yeah, everybody, just give it a look, because this Indiegogo is just to really quickly talk about it for anybody who doesn't know. The first series, or sorry, the first season, is going to really focus on a serious issue of child trafficking, and so the creative team has teamed up with Thorn.org, which is an organization to help combat child trafficking and all of that. And so even just looking into that and spreading the word out is not only a huge help to us, but of course that cause as well.